this week's episode of Her Moment in History. I'm Grace.
I'm Michelle.
And this week, what was our thing this week? Oh, we had to find somebody from our hometown.
Yes.
Right.
Which, how did you find that, Grace?
I found it quite easy. I imagine you found it quite difficult.
I did. There's just no famous people. Well, there's famous men in Stoke-on-Trent, but there's not famous women. I was very disappointed.
I didn't do mine. It's from
Nottingham.
Oh,
okay.
Mine just affiliated.
Oh, right, yeah, we're affiliated.
So.
Mine is from there.
Ooh.
And I don't think they ever left.
Oh. Interesting.
But it was the time period.
Oh, okay, fair enough. Right, so you go first.
Okay.
Right. So what time period are we talking?
She was born in 1685.
Whoa, way back.
She is Margaret Leigh,
Mm-hmm.
commonly known as Molly Leigh,
Mm-hmm.
and she was accused of being a witch.
Ooh.
And you can still see her grave today in the Burslem graveyard? Cemetery? Maybe cemetery. Right, let me start chronologically.
Okay.
Right, so she was born in a cottage on the edge of the moors of Burslem. So Stoke-on-Trent is made of 6 towns.
Okay.
And Burslem is one of the towns.
Okay.
But this was a thing that happened 100 or so years ago, that they made it into towns.
Right. Oh, so back then it would have just been all one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think.
Okay.
But Stoke-on-Trent as a collective is just made of 6 towns.
Okay.
So it's called the 6 towns. And it's it said that she was ugly, and that led to her being shunned. But I just think that's a bit mean.
So because she just was ugly, they were like, oh gosh.
Yeah, and then she was shunned and she was alone, and so people thought she was a witch. She never married. So from her birth, there was allegations that she had the ability, an adult mind and abilities from birth. So
okay, like a prodigy.
No. Oh. It was said that she was able to heat a hard crust bread just a few hours after being born.
What? With her mind?
I don't know, just it says evidence for this came from the story that she ate a hot. So
So someone gave her some hot bread, and the town went into mass panic because they assumed that she made it. Oh, okay.
And then she refused her mother's milk and instead chose to suckle from farm animals.
Oh, the devil's teat and all that. Yeah.
I mean, I'm pretty sure this is mostly just rumours.
Got to be, yeah.
It would be.
No, I genuinely
I'm pretty sure.
I genuinely believe someone was born and able to heat bread.
Yeah. No, eat.
Oh, eat?
Yes. Not heat. Eat with your mouth.
That's even less concrete evidence that she was awake. She was able to eat.
Yes.
Right, okay.
And her parents died when she was young. So she had to make her own living. And she did this by selling milk from the herd of cows that she had, and she'd sell it to travellers and passers-by and stuff. And she would like walk into town and sell the stuff. And she had a pet blackbird, which it said that the bird often sat on her shoulder.
Ooh.
It was called, what was the name of it? I did write it down. It was called like...
Is it called Polly or something? I really hope it was called Polly.
No, it's like called Sir Potsalot or something like that.
Fair enough.
Oh, name Mr. Hotfoot Jackson.
Oh. Okay. Very weird.
Yes.
I feel like I'd find it quite cute if someone just walked around with a blackbird on their shoulder, but I feel back then it was not so cute.
I mean, I really hope this bit is true because, yeah. I mean, there was an episode on, Dear Hank and Joy, the podcast. They, someone asked them a question, it was like, how can I tame a blackbird or a raven to be my pet?
Niche, yeah.
Yeah. And the bird would sit on her shoulder when she brought the milk in. She was known for a quick temper, and people were very suspicious.
Because she was angry.
Yes.
And ugly. And she had animal frames.
Yeah. I mean, I think she sounds quite nice.
I know.
So she grew up and she was like mostly unliked figure.
Mm-hmm.
She was constantly accused of watering down the milk.
Okay.
Yep. And her cottage was some distance from the town in the middle of a forest, apparently. It was called Hammel Grange, which I managed to find a picture of online.
Mm-hmm.
So I will put that
on the Instagram page.
in the Instagram, yes. Yeah. Good idea. But at the time it was known as Jackfield.
Okay.
Which I'm hoping is where
Is that what the bird is?
the bird got its name from, because it's Mr. Hotfoot Jackson.
Oh, or maybe. Oh, was Jack just a popular name back then, like Jack and John and all that?
Could have been. Oh, and there was a bush outside of her house that was like feared to. It was feared to be the place where the blackbird would sit, and then because it would never blossom, so people thought it was wizardry, witchcraft.
Or maybe just like poor gardening.
Well, if it's in a forest, it might not get sun. Yeah.
I was feared because that's where the blackbird used to sit. Like,
I know.
Really?
So, her enemy, it literally calls him her enemy.
A nemesis.
Yes. Was someone called the local parson, Reverend Spencer.
Of course.
He was a rector of St. John's Church in Burslem. I have no idea what a rector is. It doesn't...
Me either.
And she was accused of being a witch because she rarely attended church. Another factor. I
feel like if we were to use that kind of assumption now, everybody could be a witch.
Yeah. Yes. And then he claimed that that she sent the bird to sit on the sign of the Turk's Head pub, which is where he frequently visited, and he said that she soured the beer and gave all the customers rheumatism.
Oh my gosh. Do you remember having that power though?
That would be incredible.
Why don't you just use it within your small town to give people rheumatism?
No, I mean, if you're going to treat them horribly, what do you expect?
Yeah.
It's like racism. The cycle of racism continues when... I feel like I should stop this right now.
I don't know. I don't quite know where you're going with this one.
No, because, you know, like, if you treat someone of a certain race badly...
Then it reverses itself.
And then they end up acting like the person you're treating them like, even though they weren't necessarily like that person to start with. It just reinforces this whole cycle of racism.
Well, it's the bullying cycle, isn't it? The bullier the bullied becomes the bullier.
Yes.
Yes.
And she was also blamed for other ailments suffered by the town. I mean, they didn't have the NHS then, so what did they expect? And so, in fury, he shot at the bird.
Oh my gosh!
Which the bird was fine, thank goodness. But then he had an attack of stomach pains, which he blamed on the bird. Yep. And because there's no like trial or anything for her being a witch. I think it was just sort of a rumour that went round.
Okay.
So she died. A few different places said it was 1746 or 48. So
46 or 40. Okay.
So one of them, probably. Yes, in the middle. But he then was the person who buried her.
Oh.
Yes, in the St. John's churchyard. But the good townsfolk had concerns.
Over what?
Was she really dead?
Oh. Please say she wasn't.
Oh, I wish.
She was.
Yes, she was. But then, the blackbird started terrorising people in the town.
The one blackbird.
Yes, that blackbird. And so that's why they thought she wasn't dead.
Oh, okay, makes sense. Well, I mean, animals kind of remember if their owner dies, I suppose.
Yeah, it's like Hachi.
The dog?
The dog. Oh, that's so sad, film. Oh, when he stays at his grave. Oh.
But it's like a common thing, isn't it? I don't know whether it...
Was it his grave? Or was he just stay at the train
station? Stay at the train station. I haven't actually seen the film.
It's very sad. Oh, it's like Molly and Me, but...
Oh gosh, no.
With a husky. Is he a husky?
Yeah.
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 And then apparently the priest guy and some of his friends, whilst drunk, went and paid a visit to Molly's cottage in the woods, and what they saw astonished them. They saw Molly was sitting by the fire knitting.
Whoa.
With her bird.
Wait, what?
Not knitting with the bird, like as in...
She was knitting and her bird was there.
Next to it, yes.
Actually knitting
a bird.
With the bird.
Or, that's how the bird came to life. She knitted him. Oh, that'd be a good story.
But wait, sorry, she was sat...
Knitting.
She was sat... but what?
I'm guessing because they were drunk. So it could have just been...
I suppose at the time alcohol was not quite as monitored as it was now. So,
no.
I mean, was absinthe still a thing then in the UK?
No idea. That was a French thing.
I think it's from France. I know you can still get it in France.
Don't know if it came to the UK. Like, would it come to Stoke though?
You don't know. Maybe.
I feel like they just had bad beer.
Yeah, or that. Yeah. For too long.
Yeah. But there was claims that she haunted the town.
Mm-hmm.
So they decided to exhume her body.
Ooh.
So they opened it up and they threw in the still living blackbird.
That's rude. That's just rude.
I know, and then put him back. And then they reburied her in a north to south direction.
Okay.
Instead, I have no idea. But which is a right angle to all the other graves there. So if you go, you see her grave because it's the one that's not in line with all the others.
That'd be interesting to look up if there's like a proper burial meaning. You know what I mean? Because do they still follow it now? So do you still have to be buried in...
I'm not sure actually.
A line? And what's it? Is it in terms with the globe or just the church? Or I'm asking you a lot of questions.
I know, and I have no idea. And then there's many stories and questions that remain about her. So,
such as if she could eat the hot bread.
Yes.
Yes.
Some historians think that she was also staked through the heart when they opened her grave again.
Like a vampire.
Yeah, but could be just like a rumor.
Yeah.
There's rumours that she still walks the streets of Burslem apologising for her sins, which from the sounds of it she doesn't have.
The sin of being ugly.
Yeah.
Ooh.
And apparently there was an exorcism that was tried to get rid of her, but as in like her present, spirit.
Oh, okay. I thought just get rid of her while she was still alive and have an exorcism instead, and she's just stood there in the holy water being like, okay, this isn't working.
It was claimed to be successful, but some of the priests died in the process.
Ooh.
So
mysterious.
So the way I think I've heard of her is like a thing that they tell children. So there's like a little chanting mantra thing, which is Molly Lee, chase me around the apple tree.
And that's still like a thing?
Yeah.
Whoa.
So I'm sure I heard this in school.
Yeah.
And that people talked about it as if it was like a real ghost, and she'll come and get you if you call her or something. Because it's like, did you have the Bloody Mary thing? Yeah.
Which, despite the fact I'm now 21 years old, I still can't do it.
No. Should we explain what that is, just in case people don't know?
Yes, we can do. So it's like a common, what would you say, folk tale?
Yes.
Did it have to be at night time?
I did it.
People did it at night time.
we did it in the school bathroom in primary school.
Wow, you rebel.
So, I know.
You had to say, is it Bloody Mary 3 times?
Yeah.
Into the mirror, and then she'll...
Just scratch you on the back?
Yeah, or come out of the mirror. So there's a lot...
There's a lot of different myths and stuff.
But it reminds me of, the episode of American Horror Story when the guy has a fear of saying piggy, is it, in the mirror?
Oh, and yeah, in the first season?
Yes, because that's the only one I've watched. He finally gets over the fear of doing it, and so says piggy in the mirror 3 times, and then a guy with a pig mask, or pig head, jumps out the shower behind him and kills him, which, yeah.
Poetic justice.
I mean, right, you finally get over your phobia, is death.
But that's brilliant, isn't it? Because it's like there's a guy who had a fear of sinking boats. So, like, boats, because he was in a shipwreck in the late 1800s.
Yes.
And so he tried to get rid of his fear by going on the Titanic and died.
Wasn't there a guy who was on the Titanic and then survived, and then was in another shipwreck and then survived, and then in another shipwreck, and that's the one that finally killed him?
This might be that guy.
Is it?
I think so.
Was like, multiple ones, which, if anything, is enough to give you a fear of it. But at the same time, it's got to do something for your, like, self-preservation in terms of, like, I'm indestructible.
Yes. I'm sure it's not a nice experience.
No.
But...
No.
I mean, it finally got him.
And after the,
It's kind of like Final Destination, where you're meant to die in this one time.
Yes.
Because you don't, you'll just keep trying and trying again until it kills you.
I mean, I've never actually watched Final Destination.
Oh, that's how the plot.
Okay, I think I watched a music video that was based on Final Destination.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, where it was set in a... Wait, was it? I think so. Where it's set in a school, and so, like, you think that somebody's going to get choked to death with their hair, and actually, like, the lockers fall on them instead.
Yeah, that's the whole Final Destination series.
It definitely was inspired by that, yeah.
It's very... Oh, it gives you so many fears.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, and, okay, back to the prison.
Yeah.
So there's still questions that remain, which is, why did he turn her body? No one knows.
Commonly.
Yeah, like, because just laying her spirit to rest should have been enough, but he didn't trust his own judgment because he did it, which is very strange.
Plot twist, he was...
Oh my god, they were having an affair.
Oh, okay. No, different directions with that one.
It was a weird kink.
What? They were having an affair, so he staked her.
I mean,
and shot her.
Have you seen the Vampire Diaries?
Yeah. I don't think they actually, like, kill each other in that, though. For, like,
they kind of do.
Yeah. I know, I kind of lost.
Yeah.
They die and they come back to the egg, yeah.
And it's apparently very unusual to see a body turned.
Yeah.
In a graveyard, which is... And it's a very large tomb. Or, like, not an actual tomb, but a very large...
Like coffin.
Gravestone kind of thing on top of it. Which...
To keep her down.
Yes.
Oh.
But she didn't have very much money. So who paid for this? Because she wouldn't have been able to afford it.
The bird did.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Because they collect gold and stuff, don't... Is that blackbirds? Oh, I was close. And then there was a pagan association offered to pay for a railing to go around the grave.
Oh, to...
Like, keep her in, I guess. And
to keep others away.
Maybe. And, yeah, the Church of England didn't know how to react to this.
I can imagine the Church of England don't really know how to react to pagans quite a lot of the time, to be fair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there was also another legend that about her grave. If on Halloween you dance around a grave and sing Molly Lee, you can't catch me, her apparition will appear.
I'm gonna catch you.
Yeah. And then
sounds like a fun activity.
There is a woman from the 1900s who was a self-declared witch.
Okay.
And she claims to be a descendant from Molly Leigh.
Wait, how?
But if you think about it, that doesn't make sense, does it?
No. Because if Molly Leigh never had any children.
Or did she?
Oh.
Her and the Blackbird. Oh.
Or maybe, like, if you trace it up and down, if you mean. So,
yeah.
maybe, like, her siblings' children.
But aren't we all descendants from Molly Leigh?
I mean, yeah.
I mean, especially me.
Yeah.
Because I'm from Stoke-on-Trent.
You specifically.
Me specifically. Interesting. Oh, and she was, oh, I said that. She walked around town with a jackdaw on her shoulder. This is the new person. She's called Sybil Leigh.
Sybil?
Leigh.
Okay.
Yes. And,
a real one?
I think so.
Ooh.
She then became like I was going to do a whole episode on it.
Okay.
But like, spoilers.
Mm-hmm.
It's okay. She became, what are they called? Horoscopes. Where they do tell you your horoscopes. And I can't remember the name of the word that they are. Mystics?
Yes.
Yeah. And she seemed to have a interesting life. But they did try to find her records to see if she actually was a descendant. But they were very hard to trace. So, no one knows.
Mm-hmm.
And then finally, there was a film made that was called Molly Crows.
Mm-hmm.
That is inspired by Molly Leigh, and her spirit returns to wreak revenge upon the descendants of those who wronged her, which seems a bit ridiculous.
That's like a common.
I know, but like, why? Like 400 years later, and you're gonna kill them ancestors?
Just bitter.
But isn't that everyone?
Yeah.
Because
yeah.
Just wipe out the
Just
world.
coming after all of us. Which, to be fair, if that's the way that we all go.
Yeah, it is a feature film also.
Ooh.
And it was filmed in Stoke in 2012.
Good.
Which I don't think we have much of a film industry, but there we go. Plug.
Plug for the Stoke film industry.
Yes. And it was distributed through Disrify via Facebook in 2014.
Oh, fairly recently then.
Yes.
Oh, nice.
So, if they just have a surge of popularity, they can thank me. And that is Molly Leigh.
Very interesting. I enjoyed that. You said you didn't have a lot on her.
I didn't think I did.
Oh,
and then I found some more.
Fair enough.
Because I was going to do a bit on Molly Leigh and then Sybil Leigh because they're connected.
Makes sense.
But I did quite a lot. So.
Oh. Was Sybil Leigh also then from Stoke, did you say?
Yeah, I think she's like a further out part of Stoke.
Mm-hmm.
And that's debated, they don't know. She's like from Staffordshire.
I don't know where that is.
So Staffordshire is like, like Nottinghamshire.
Yeah.
Nottinghamshire.
Oh, yeah.
And then Nottingham is in it.
Yeah.
It's like Stoke-on-Trent is in Staffordshire.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool.
I really hope I've done that. Like, said that right.
Right, fair enough.
Who's your person?
My person is Ada Lovelace.
Oh, I
My
might
face
have...
just lit up.
I've heard of her, but I don't know how.
Oh, good. Because I was really worried that you were actually going to know a lot about them.
I mean, I might when you tell me more about her.
Fair enough. So she was called the Enchantress of Numbers.
Oh. Did they make a film about her?
They probably did.
Did it star... Oh, wait, you don't know. What's... Amanda Seyfried?
I don't think so.
Because it was called Lovelace.
Maybe. Probably. It could have been about the other person who has her surname, though, which is her husband. Or anybody else who has her surname.
Oh.
Anyway, right. So, born in 1815.
Yes.
On December 10th. She was the only legitimate child of Lord Byron.
Oh.
And Lord Byron's wife, who was Anna Isabel Byron.
Mary Shelley's sister had a child from Lord Byron.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Ooh. Mary Shelley's sister had a child from Lord Byron. That's quite...
I mean, can you imagine that literary influence, though? I mean, I really hope they became like a, Keats.
You really hope that child became Keats. I feel like we would have known about that if that child became Keats.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we can hope.
Okay. She was born named Augusta Ada Byram, although her parents separated a few weeks after she was born. Ada never saw her dad because he left. So after her parents separated, he left and moved to Greece, where he then died when she was 8. So she didn't really know her dad very much.
Yeah.
And because of the separation, her mum wasn't a massive fan. So her mum was very strict on Ada, didn't really show her much affection, and because she didn't want Ada to also become like a poet and things like that, she really like nailed down on a strict education of things like maths and science, things that typically didn't kind of opposed literary kind of aims. So
I mean, that's quite sad though.
Yeah.
Because it's like, if you'd forced Alan Turing to write poetry, I'm sure it'd be nice, but if his calling was maths...
I know, yeah. Don't force them. Ada did enjoy, like, maths and science, though.
Fair enough, I am glad.
Another reason why she was kind of really pushed into it, but the main, like...
Do you think she ever read her father's poetry?
I imagine so.
I mean, you must do out of curiosity.
Yeah, there's no way that... I mean, even, like, as a child, maybe not, because her mum wouldn't have allowed to. But when she...
In older life, yeah.
Yeah.
Older life? Older age.
Older age, yeah. She was... she spent a lot of infancy... So she was born in... I actually don't have it written down. I think she was born in London, from what I remember.
Ooh.
But she spent a lot of her childhood in Nottingham, in a place called Kirkby-in-Ashfield. So it's like... So Nottingham's like a big place, and it's like in the north kind of Nottingham.
Okay.
So a different place where I'm from, but it's in Nottingham. So, and she was raised mainly by her maternal grandmother and by servants, but the grandmother died when she was 7.
Oh.
So yeah.
So was the mum not around?
Didn't have a lot lot to do with raising her. I think other than like pushing her into education, she didn't really have a lot of involvement.
Oh.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm guessing they're upper class, but I don't know.
Yeah, upper class, lot of money. Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, there's always that thing where they're distant from their parents.
I know, which, I mean, get rid of that, because...
Yeah, I mean, some people still do it, probably.
I imagine so. Like, traditional, or even people just with strange relationships.
Yeah.
To parents, but I find it quite sad.
Yeah.
Because at the time girls couldn't go to university, Ada got all of her education from like private tutors and things like that. Yeah, she did a lot to do with science and logic and math and things, and she also studied French and music because at the time they were like fashionable and they were men. So she also like there was a lot to do with that as well.
Mm-hmm. I hate the fact that women in history learned music to impress men.
Yeah.
Like, mostly. Mm-hmm. That's why I like the piano, the film, because it's for her.
Yeah.
Because she does it for her own self. And, like, that's very sad that that's a rare thing at that time, but, yep.
Her mum also had her lying on the floor for extended periods of time. Teach her self-control. That's not really relevant to the rest of it. I just found that a really fun fact.
That is very strange.
Yeah. Just, like, how do you get right? So today's lesson, you're just going to lie on the floor for 7 hours, teach you self-control. But weird.
Yeah.
Yeah. So from a young age, Ada was interested in numbers and maths and mechanics. She designed, theoretically designed boats and flying machines.
Ooh.
I know, she was really interested by the Industrial Revolution, which was like, it was in magazines a lot at the time.
Oh, yeah.
As well. And when she was 12, she said that she wanted to fly, so she created some wings for herself.
Wow.
So this was, in 1828. Yeah? Yeah, in 1828. She designed wings after the birds that she'd been studying. So she learned a lot about birds as well, and she even wrote a book. So at this point, she was 12 years old. She wrote a book that was called Flyology.
Oh my goodness!
Which had in it all the illustrations and calculations as to how she would make these wings work. Wow. I don't think it ever came to fruition though, because she got very, very ill. So she had a lot of dizzy spells when she was a kid that obscured her vision, and she was paralysed with measles the year after. Oh. So she had a year of bed rest.
Oh, that's not nice.
I know.
Did she? She must have recovered.
Yeah, she did. But a year in bed,
that's a lot. That's like Frida Kahlo.
Yes. At least Frida Kahlo had like intermittent periods of being in girl, but no, she apparently was just in there all year.
I mean, there's a book called A Year in Bed or something like that.
Really?
By Sue Townsend.
Oh.
It's like...
Did she write Adrian Mole, didn't she?
Possibly. Mm-hmm. And yes, this woman is just like, right, I'm staying in bed for a year.
Oh, God.
This is what's happening.
I'd go insane.
I mean, I'd quite like it, to be honest.
I feel, because, you'd still see people, but...
Yeah. And people, came and visited, and... Yeah. Well, they had to bring her food.
Yes. And obviously, kind of disgustingly, you'd have, a pot and things like that in order to pee in.
Yeah. I think she tackled that when she brought her bed sheets in the bathroom with her, so she was technically still in bed.
That's cheating.
Yeah. But I guess it's better than just peeing on a bed.
Yeah. And it still, even just, bed to bathroom to bed to bathroom for a year, it's still, you're breathing the same recycled air for a year.
Yeah. I mean, you could open a window.
I know, but it's just not the same. I'd go stir crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah. So at 17, she met and befriended a guy called Charles Babbage.
Ooh.
Do you know who he is?
No, I just like his name.
Oh, yeah. It's fun to type as well. I was writing my name, Babbage. And he was a mathematician and inventor. He was also a something that I can't pronounce. I think it's Lucian?
A Lutheran?
There's no TH.
Oh, a Lucian.
Lucian, yeah.
That's his name, or that's what he is?
No, it's his title. He was that professor of mathematics at Cambridge.
Oh.
So it was a position that had I think it had been set up by Isaac Newton, who was the first person to hold that position, and then obviously more recently, it was held by Stephen Hawking. So it was that position. This guy Babbage, he called Ada that enchantress who has thrown her magic spell around the most abstract of sciences and has grasped it with a force that few masculine intellects could ever exert over it.
Oh.
And then also called her the Enchantress of Numbers, which is where she got her title from. Oh. So, and they got on. They were good friends. It was through him that she was able to study advanced mathematics at University of London with Professor. I assume that they just like to share calculations and maths, talk together, as mathematicians like to do. And he was attempting to create a machine that performed mathematic calculations.
Oh, the calculator.
Ada had kind of seen, because it was all kind of theoretical, if you know what I mean, nothing that they did actually ever became physical.
Yeah, I'm just having a small revelation that someone did make a calculator. Yeah. They've not always just been around.
I know. Because when I was writing it, I was like, that's a calculator. And then I was like, oh my gosh, no, people would have had to have sit and done all that workings out, which is insane.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure it was fun for them.
To sit and do workings out.
Yeah, why not? Or create a system that works everything out.
Yeah, that could have been fun.
I wouldn't even know how to start with that.
Either.
I mean, we're not math students, so...
No, I'm not very good. Yeah, you see my maths. I struggle counting, never mind, extended forms of...
Yeah, but you said you were good at theoretical maths.
Yes, but not creating it, necessarily.
Fair enough. Yes.
It's when it's all written down. It's very pretty to look at.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what he's intended to create. And she saw the plans before they were finished, and she was captivated by it. Ooh. So she asked to be sent blueprints as well, so she could study them and work out how it worked. So they basically then, the kind of thing was all devised very loosely. I don't think all the calculations have been worked out as to how to make it work, but it was still quite a turning point, and it was called the analytical engine that would work the way that a calculator does, so be able to like store information separately as well in like a memory, as well as work on something presently, if that makes any sense. And it would all be powered by steam or a hand crank.
Wow, that's hard work.
I genuinely don't know.
Oh my goodness. Can you imagine like showing them now that we just all have calculators on our phones?
Yeah.
Let alone like there's a little machine that does it.
Yeah.
And you can get them for like 50p.
I know, yeah, and theirs would have been like massive, and then you'd have to stand turning the handle as it works things out.
Well, it's like early film was like that.
Yeah.
You had to stand and crank it. Yeah.
Incredible.
Yeah. I just kind of want to just like go back in time and show like this is the future.
Just a phone.
I'd just be like, look at this.
Because within a phone you've got like obviously a mobile, like a phone that doesn't require any sort of a cable.
No.
You've got text, so there's like binary there, which is sent over wave signals.
And you've got like access to almost everything.
Yeah, internet. So
on
all
a
of
little
information.
Brick in your. It's not even a brick anymore. It's a little.
No, it's
a little like flat thing.
Yeah. Cameras.
Oh
videos,
my goodness. Why? Yes, we're having a small revelation. What a world we live in.
I know, it is incredible. But even if you go back, I remember when I was like at primary school, and like the smartphones that exist today wasn't even a thing then.
No, yeah.
And the idea of taking a picture on your phone was quite novel. And if you pressed the internet button, there was like 10 times you had to press to get out of it.
Yes. And it would barely ever work as well. Yeah,
it was very good. I think I used the internet to like download music like once.
Same.
And then got the
and you Bluetoothed it to people.
Yes. Or you'd sit and you'd play the radio from like your computer.
Oh, and record it.
And you'd record it. And I do remember I have a song. I don't have it anymore, obviously, but I used to have a song on my phone. And halfway through recording the song, my friend had messaged me on MSN, so I got the notifications. So in the middle of this like really nice song, I just got doo-doom in the middle, but it took too long to have recorded it and get it perfect that I just dealt with that being in there.
That's quite strange. Now that song has that little noise in the middle to you.
Yeah, and still if I listen to the song now, I'm still like, oh, there it is. So, but yeah. So the analytical engine was all kind of written, it was in a paper, and she was asked to translate the paper
to French?
From French.
Oh, from French.
I don't know why it was written in French.
Is this the time when all the courts were in French?
It might have been.
So I don't know why we like do academic stuff in French too.
What do you mean, like now?
No, then.
Yeah, I mean we do everything in English now, don't we?
I mean, because I don't think we weren't under French control. Well, this is embarrassing, isn't it? I don't know history.
No, but I think like French still held an aura of elitism, if you know what I mean.
Okay.
And it still does if you think about it in terms of like Académie Française and things like that. It still holds that kind of that. Yeah. I'm surprised it wasn't in Latin, but also because the paper was written by an Italian and was published in a Swiss journal. So when I was reading this, I was getting very, very confused. But yeah, it was written in French. Weird.
Yes.
Yeah, many layers.
Maybe that was the common language for all of them.
Between all engineers and mathematicians.
Oh, it was a collaborative effort. That's nice.
So she translated it and she added her own notes into it whilst translating.
Oh wow.
Which, if like you were to do that, I can imagine if it didn't go well, you'd get in a lot of trouble. Her notes ended up being 3 times as long as the paper.
Wow.
Right? And in all of the notes, she added all the calculations as to how it was going to work. So before it was very kind of, this is what we're aiming for. And then she was like, right, this is how you get it all to work.
Oh my goodness.
I know.
And why wouldn't they let women into universities? She's a genius.
Right? I don't know. I guess because people were threatened. Yeah, they were threatened. I'm going to stick with that.
Yeah.
But very sad.
Patriarchy.
I know. Goddamn patriarchy. She used a number algorithm in order to get it to work. So, like, wanted to put that into the machine, and then the machine would use that algorithm in order to do maths. And that algorithm is kind of the early form of a computer program. So that's what we do now in order to...
I did think that, but I wasn't sure.
No, yeah. And so the paper was published in 1843. And so he's the first computer programmer.
That's crazy.
I know.
Oh, wow.
Before computers were even a thing, if you know what I mean. And this was still just a hand-crank machine, and yet she'd come up with computer programming.
Oh my goodness.
I know.
Oh.
Yeah.
It's like that Hedy Lamarr.
Go on.
She deserves a whole episode. She created some kind of... She was an actress in Hollywood in early 20th century. And she created some kind of plane... Something for planes during the war.
Yeah.
Which got patented under a different name, and she had a whole lawsuit that...
Yes.
She eventually got the rights to it. And that device ended up leading to Wi-Fi.
Whoa.
And she was an actress, and
whoa.
They wouldn't let her have the patent to it for ages, and then
there was the person, I'm gonna get this completely wrong, but somebody in China during its communist days. Yeah. Was a scientist, and she worked with a team of people, and she created a vaccine for something. It's going so well. Something quite big. Meningitis, I can't remember.
Oh, wow.
But basically, because of at the time in communist China, you weren't, if you were a scientist, basically, you were like shunned or beaten or like she had her kids taken off of her and her husband was tortured.
Goodness.
But it was so important that the research got out there that she did it all anonymously, and it's only then in the recent years that we've actually worked out who she was.
If men would just get over their pride and let women do all the stuff, we'd live in a utopian society now.
But it baffles me that you would think that because of somebody's gender or their sex or their race or any of that
just anything other than they're like not just seen as like everyone's a human, and then seen other than that, it just doesn't make sense.
No, and I don't know. Thoughts are thoughts. You know what I mean? You can't.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, because like even if a child started like spouting Einstein's theories and he knew everything, or she knew everything, or whatever their gender, then like we wouldn't just deny it to them. We'd be like, "Oh, you are actually
a
gifted."
Yeah. Yeah, it just baffles me. Angers me, but baffles me.
Yes.
So, but anyway, she also realised, so despite the fact obviously she worked with numbers a lot, she also kind of, and this is quite entertaining for me, she realised that the machine could do more than just numbers. So she theoretically, it could have also composed music.
Oh, wow.
And this is because the way that her brain worked with numbers was that she interpreted it as like a language almost.
Okay.
So everything was basically numbers and algorithms.
Okay.
So music and the alphabet and images could all be done by computer algorithms. And she called her approach poetical science. And what
I like that.
I find really funny about it as well is that her mum did so much to try and make sure that she wasn't, literally in that sense like creative, and yet she found her own way of doing it using a logistical way.
Yeah.
Which is incredible.
I know. Oh my goodness. It's very strange though that like I don't know if you can say like talents are passed on.
Yes.
But the fact that like she called it like poetic science and her father was a poet. And it's just like, oh, is there something inherited there? That's just
the poet gene.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, that's quite a nice thought.
What the talents of
your
parents who passed?
I mean, you can the anxieties get passed on.
Yeah.
So why not talents?
Yeah. Good point. I hope so.
Yeah. So I should be a psychologist.
by that one.
My one breakthrough.
Theory, yeah.
Yes.
I have theorised this. What's your evidence? I have none, but I'm going to let everybody else work it out and then take the credit.
Yep.
Perfect. In 1835, so this is before paper was published and things. She married William King, who was the Earl of Lovelace, which is where she got her surname from. And so all of her publications.
Is that a place in the UK?
Yes, I shall look it up right now. But it was under then the name Lovelace. She adopted it and used that for all of her publications. She published all of her publications under AAL, so Augusta Ada Lovelace. It doesn't say so here.
I really hope that's why it's called AOL.
AOL.
You know? I really want it to be. Breaking news, it is now.
This says AOL stands for... Okay, it doesn't actually make sense because it says online, so that's what it is. It literally doesn't say.
Oh my god, it's like the Apple thing all over again.
What, the Apple thing?
Yeah, because the Apple sign is, because it's the bite of an apple.
Yeah.
And it's meant to be about Alan Turing, who took a bite of the apple when he died, because he put cyanide in it. Because he helped make the computer, didn't he, with the Enigma?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's where it's from? Or is
I
that
think
a
so.
common misconception?
No, I think that's where it's from.
Oh my gosh.
But I had someone try to tell me that it was from the devil who bit the apple. But I don't agree.
I always thought Newton, because of the apple falling on him.
Could be. Or it's both.
It's all of them, yeah. AOL here says it stands for America Online.
That's just disappointing, isn't it?
Sorry. No, we'll go with yours.
Mine's way better.
So with William King, they had 3 children together, and for some reason, every single biographical thing that I looked her up on also really wanted me to know that they both really liked horses. So it doesn't give any more information. Anything they did, they just really liked horses. So there's that.
That's quite nice.
Yeah. They also massive to socialise. So with Michael Faraday, who famous physicist, I think.
Oh, I've never heard of it.
Because there's the Faraday's law. Something to do with energy being taken in or exerted. Yeah, there's that. And Charles Dickens as well. So I think what it was.
Oh, wow.
And in because Ada Lovelace is also a character within the BBC show Victoria.
That might be where I know from.
Yeah, played by is it Emerald Fennell, I think.
It's not Amanda Seyfried.
Not Amanda Seyfried. I'm sorry, no.
There was a film though.
Yes, there was. When I looked up Lovelace, there is a film that's called Lovelace.
Is it not about Ada?
I didn't actually click the link. Just give me 1 second. Da-da. No, it's not. It's about a porn star called Linda Lovelace, who's played by Amanda Seyfried.
Oh. I mean, good on Linda, but
also not the same one, I'm afraid.
Right. So, the
Have
plan.
you watched that Lovelace film and you thought then that person was
No,
this
I haven't
person?
seen it.
Okay. No,
I'm just right, so there's a gap in the market, so we're selling an idea for a Lovelace film.
And Ada Lovelace also spent a lot of time in gambling halls with other mathematicians, which to me seems like a not very bright thing to do.
I mean, if she's counting the cards, though.
But everybody was.
Right. Oh, that was quite interesting.
Right? She lost a lot of money by doing this.
Oh.
Because a lot of the other mathematicians.
Well, they are magicians, really.
Yeah, magician of numbers. The other mathematicians would use their maths in order to work out the way that cards worked. I don't think because that wasn't her kind of area of interest. But why would you openly like go into like that kind of thing, knowing that the people you're competing against.
Yeah, I mean it's quite a nice thought, isn't it?
Yeah, but naive. She got increasingly unwell after her publication had been released, and in 1852 she passed away from what they think was probably cancer at age 36.
That's very sad.
The same age her dad had been.
Wow.
I know.
Van Gogh died at 37.
Oh. Is it 27 the club for musicians?
Oh, I think so.
Yeah. He's quite missed it a bit.
Only by 10 years.
Yeah.
But
he still can.
Yes.
Babbage then also himself ran into money troubles. The analytical machine was just a theory.
Oh, that's quite sad.
So would it have worked?
Oh. You know, if there's any mathematicians out there, let us know.
It has been done. I
Damn
wanted
it.
to see if you thought it would generally have worked.
Oh.
Yes, it did. So in 1991...
Oh, that's quite a while after.
I know. Yeah, ages after. The curator of computing at London Science Museum built it.
Oh, wow.
It weighed 5 tons, but it worked perfectly.
Goodness.
I know. And there is a picture as well of it. So during Ada's illness, her mother controlled who she could see. So she wasn't allowed to see her friends or her colleagues. And then on her deathbed, so it was kind of like, so Ada, I think, would like to have like meetings with people, because obviously she had her own life, if you know what I mean, and sometimes that excluded her husband. And I don't know if he was happy about this. And on her deathbed, she confessed something to him that resulted in him leaving 2 days before her death and never returning. No one knows what that thing was.
Oh my, that's interesting.
Right?
Ooh.
I know. Alright. She also had a pact with her friends at the time that when she died, all of her letters would be burned, meaning that, and they did it, meaning that we actually don't know a great deal about her personal life.
Oh, that's sad.
Yeah. So years later, enter Alan Turing.
Oh yes.
Who read Ada's work, and though we don't know to what extent he actually like used any of it, he, you know, quite likely used a lot of it in creating Enigma, in terms of like, the algorithms and things. But he did disagree with some of the things that she was saying. So Ada believed that machines would never be able to work things out on their own, that you would always have to do it for them, and then they would just give you the answer. Like a calculator, you have to tell it, and then. But Turing kind of said no, and he obviously with Enigma then programmed it to think on its own. Ada Lovelace was not discovered, kind of her involvement, until 1950s.
Oh wow.
I know. And because of her contributions, in 1980 the US Department of Defense named a newly developed computer language, Ada, after her.
Ooh.
On your passport, if your passport was given to you after 2015, I think it was, there's a picture of her on page 46.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
I will look at that.
And she's buried in Nottingham. She's buried in Hucknall, which is also like in the north of Nottingham, at St Mary Magdalene Church, which is next to her father, as per request.
Nice.
And the reason I'd seen and heard a lot of her is because, so in Nottingham we have tram service, which I probably mentioned to you before.
Yes.
And all the trams have, well not all of them, but most trams have
Does
names
she have a
on them.
tram name?
And she has a tram. And it was, last year I think it was, it hit the paper, like the local Nottingham paper, because the Lord Byron tram and the Ada Lovelace tram were finally like in a stop next to one another. And there's a picture of it.
That's very sweet.
So yeah. And that is Ada Lovelace.
Lovely.
Thank you very much. Got anything else you want to add?
Nope.
No? Fair enough. Right. Then we shall bid you all adieu.
Yes, thank you for listening, if you made it to the end.
Yeah. And please, if you liked, give us a like.
Rating, or... We're hoping it's going to get distributed in wider places. Not wide, more places.
More places, so we're still in the early processes kind of that at the moment. So hopefully by the time this goes out, it'll be
sorted.
But yeah, thank you, and then join us next time if you enjoyed.
Yep.
Thank you very much.
Bye.
Bye.